ELB.
What up, world? It's your boy Chuck Wick, ill, aka Charles Brown, back again with another What Really Happened, a promoter story. Going back in the day, talking about shows I done did. This time, I'm gonna bring back one I already did, one of my first promoter stories I ever did, because when I did it, I had first started doing videos, and it was a very bad video, first of all. Second of all, I think this is one of them stories that need to be told correctly. And third, I have been having this story taken down from YouTube and from other social platforms because of, one, I used video footage from Keith Murray's videos. So they claimed it. First they claimed it, then they muted him, and then they deleted him altogether, right? Off of the different platforms, including YouTube. And my number one thing that I think they deleted it for was because it wasn't because I used the video footage. It's because I put footage up of Keith Murray actually kicking down the ceiling and ripping down the fire extinguishers at a nightclub that I was doing. It wasn't nothing serious, but I think somebody that trying to protect his image went and had them go and flag it, and they ripped and they deleted the video because it wasn't no cursing. It wasn't nothing, like the songs was low in the background, and they usually just demonetize it or they'll license it to the owner of the music. They won't delete your video. So my opinion is, I think they deleted it because of the footage of him ripping that thing down. So I think I'm gonna put it up again, and I'm not gonna put no music in it, but I am going to stick a little bit of the footage of him actually kicking down that ceiling because it's hilarious, not for one. And for two, I want to see if they delete my video again, right? So I put this video up probably back in 2015, like mad years ago. And if you look on YouTube, it's not there anymore, right? And the Black Rob one, that one got took down too for whatever reason. But with that being said, I'm going to go into the story of that time I booked Keith Murray in Providence, Rhode Island. One of my most memorable and most outrageous show bookings ever. So I want to start off with how it first started. I was just starting to get my feet wet in the hip-hop promoter game. I was already doing showcases and things like that, and I had a couple shows under my belt with what they call national acts, what they call in the business, national acts. I had Cormega. I think I had did Big Suge from Gangstar and Edo G, which are older, but they're national acts, old school acts, but they are national acts, right? And so then I started working with certain different clubs that was saying, oh, we want to bring people and have you promote the show, host the show, yada, yada, yada. So I think we had I started getting bigger names like, was it Sheik Luch and Killer Priest, and just a couple names. So then I was working down there with Jerkins and them, and they wanted to bring Keith Murray. Now, the first time that I was involved with bringing Keith Murray, it was their show. So I was doing it under their name. We did it. It was like a weekend thing. It was like Keith Murray one night, and the other night was, I can't remember who the other artist was. But it was like a 2-night thing or something. I don't know what happened, but we brought Keith Murray on. I was in charge of getting all these openers and doing all this and that and the third, da 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 da. So the show went off. It was super packed. Jerkins used to get super packed for hip hop because they was like one of the premier go-to venues for hip hop back in the day. I think CR the Beast might have been on that show as well, and it was actually, I'm gonna be honest with you, one of them shows with just too many openers, and it was just too many things going on. And it actually, when he hit the stage, he went crazy. He did his thing, stage dive and everything. It just was a very hectic show. And when it was over, everybody was like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? But it finally was over, and we got it done. So down the line, I want to say maybe, I don't know, 6 months, a year later or so, I was at this other venue called Sunset Bar, and what was her name? I'm bugging. Jen. Jen was the owner of Sunset Bar, and I approached Jen because someone approached me about doing Keith Murray again, because I had already done him in the show of success, right? But this time I didn't have the venue behind me. This was a brand new venue, trying to make a name, small venue. We were trying to pop it. I believe when I went over there was only one other promoter even doing Sunset, and it wasn't really that successful. So she was like, I'm trying to get this to pop, blah, 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 blah. I'm willing to, help do this any kind of way that we need to do this. So I started doing little showcases over there and started to try to bring a buzz to the venue and get people to come over to Sunset. Sunset name started to pop a little bit, and we started to try to do bigger things over there. And Jen was very receptive to all things hip hop, and even trying to bring in some bigger names, and just wanted to get the spot to pop. So what I did, I started doing just different random little showcases, and they had different DJs there and stuff. But somebody hit me up about bringing Keith Murray, right? They were like, I got to connect, I got a line on Keith Murray, and I want to know if you want to bring him over there to Sunset. Now, what I be telling people is, with these older artists, they don't always have one manager. So somebody hit me up saying they the manager of Keith Murray, blah, 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 blah. A lot of times, these older artists, and I said this in the previous video, they have 5, 6 managers. Like, one guy is not your manager. Like, they may have one manager, but a guy like Keith Murray, he need to stay on his toes. Or older artists, they need to get shows wherever they can get. And the first person I booked him through the first time was not the person I booked him through the second time. Because you're going to get different managers, different agents. They can get in his ear and say, yo, Keith, what's good? 5, 6 different people can hit him up and say, I got a show for you. You know what I'm saying? So don't ever think that one person is some person's manager. I've only come across very few situations where that one person is their manager, and that's the only way you can book that show. That is very rare. Because these older artists, these rappers, they're going to take that money however they can get it. Right? Somebody call them and say, yo, B, I got this in Connecticut. They want to give you blase blah amount of money, come through on a Saturday night and just perform and get that money. They're going to take that money. They're not going to call no manager. They're going to be like, yo, I'll be there, B, like whatever. A lot of times it ain't even no contract involved. It's just like they word them out, because I booked Beanie Siegel. Beanie Siegel was just an oral contract on the phone. I ain't had to send him no paper. He's like, yo, I'll be there. I say, yo, this is what it is. Are you good with this amount? We'll take care of you when you get here. He's like, bet. And Beans actually called me that night. Beans a stand-up dude, because somebody else tried to take him that night, because he was at a club drinking, and they was like, we're going to pay you to perform here. Just stay here. But he had already gave me his word, and they was going to pay him more than I was paying him. I was like, dog, you can't do that. I got a room full of people. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? He was like, B, I'm going to be there, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. I just was checking with you to see if you really was going to do it tonight, or you really was good, or whatever. But Beans did it. He came through, and the show went off without a hit. So Keith Murray, I got him through some other random chick that by the end of the story, she wasn't even involved. In the beginning of the story, I'm the manager, da-da-da. By the end of the story, I'm calling 4 or 5 different people to find out what's going on with Keith, because it wasn't never really 100% locked in like that. So me and Jim was like, let's do the thing you always do with the openers. You're going to do an open for Keith Murray night. We're going to have rappers come in, compete, and we'll use that money towards, because this is a small venue, you know what I'm saying? So we working together, everybody trying to work together, and that's what people don't understand. When we do these events, these little open up for this person, that person, these are small venues. I'm a small promoter. We're trying to figure out a way to bring this hip hop to you. Like, a lot of people don't get that. They're like, yo, why you doing shows? You charging to do shows, or you charging the tickets to sell tickets? Nobody has this money on hand. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to make it where that they don't take a huge loss, and you can still get that hip hop show you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? The people that boggle my mind are the people that want you to do it for nothing, go in your pocket, lose your money. They come in and don't have nothing on the line. Just see a great show and whatever, and that's it. But it don't work like that. So we did the show, open up for Keith Murray, but for one of the first times ever, that show flopped. Open up for Keith Murray show flopped hard. Like, it flopped so hard, we was second guessing even doing another one. Like, because we was going to do 3 of them to try to cover the cost, you know what I'm saying, what it was going to be to bring him. We did 1, and we was like, we can't do no more of these. This joint, we ain't barely make $200. That ain't going to cover the night at the bar. You know what I'm saying? We made barely $200. I just like, look, take that. we was sitting there. We had a meeting that night, considering if we was even going to do the show at all. We was going to cancel the show. So what we ended up doing was like, nah, we're gonna roll with it because night of, anything could happen. I was like, are you willing to take this loss with me? And she was, yeah. And a lot of times these venues don't want to take no loss. And when in a couple future videos, I'm gonna talk about a couple spots that I did, right? And the show took a loss, right? But it's all on me. You know what I'm saying? And they want me to eat the loss, and they want to walk away clean. And we're gonna talk about that because it's really not fair. And if I was a smarter promoter at the time, I would have had that in the beginning of the contract with the venue, as opposed to I'm gonna give you all this money. Then when it come up short, I still got to give you money out. I got to find it and give and pay you $1,000, even though the show didn't do nothing. I lost a lot of money. I lost a lot of time with these shows when they don't pop, and I still got to pay everybody. Everybody still got to get paid. A lot of shows happen like that, and we're gonna get into that in the future. But this time, Jen was like, yo, I'll eat it with you. We're going to do this together. So we kept with the promotion of the show. Keith Murray, Sunset Bar, blah, blah, blah. And as it gets closer to the show, you know, tickets ain't really selling. Nobody ain't really hyped up about it. It's like it's a dead show. It's like I'm really like nervous about this show because a show will tell you what it's going to do based on the buzz of the show. And this was no buzz for the show. Like, it was a dead show. It was like, okay, I got to do something to put this in gear. So you just start hitting up more directly people and just getting the word out there. Because, again, Sunset is a new venue. It's small. It's in a part of town that people don't really even go to for hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? So you're dragging people into a part of town, got more damn cops than it got hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a whole different thing. And, you know, we decided, like, we're going to take this chance. Hopefully it pop. Hopefully Keith show up. And the thing with Keith was, right, Keith rolls dolo. When I did him the first time, he rolled up to the show dolo. No crew, no bodyguard, security, no girlfriend, nothing. Like, dolo, just out there with his hands in his pocket, like, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude's a real dude. Like, he came to do his show, get his couple grand, whatever it was, and was like, I'm out. I'm going to get back on whatever bus he did or whatever, however he got there. He went home the same way, right? So he did that again with this time. But the thing was, Keith don't really drive like that. If anybody know, he don't really be driving like that. So you got to pick him up and stuff like that. And I had a dude named Victor working with us. He used to pick up all the artists. He picked up Joe Button. He picked up Joel Ortiz. He picked up a couple other people. He picked up, I think, Capadonna. You know what I'm saying? So he picked up artists. He was a good dude. And he used to do that for us for the love of the culture. And, you know, of course he got paid, but he used to do it for the culture, right? So I had Vic going to pick up Keith in Connecticut. Keith was in Connecticut going to catch the ferry from, I believe, I don't know if it's Long Island or wherever, the ferry in New York. She's going to ride that to Connecticut to some ferry stop in Connecticut. I don't know where, Hartford or something. And Vic was going to pick him up. It was like a 2-hour drive from where we were to just to get him from whatever ferry, an hour and a half or whatever it was. So Vic's down there. It's getting dark and no sign of Keith Murray, right? So I'm calling the girl, and she's like, hold on. She calls another guy. He like, hold on. He calls a DJ. The DJ that was supposed to come with him. He's like, oh, yeah, I can't make it. This is the DJ that was supposed to come up with him. I ain't going to be able to make it, right? You know what I'm saying? But Keith still going on his way. He going to catch the ferry and meet y'all over there. But I was supposed to come with him, but I'm not going to be there. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't find out. I get the story later. I don't know if this true, false, indifferent. But something about, which I never even heard of, if you have prescription pills and you don't got the right name on the bottle, you can get arrested. I didn't know that was even a thing. But apparently something happened with some pills or something, and the DJ got arrested. I don't even know the DJ's name, to be honest with you. So he couldn't come. So Keith came on his own and was supposed to have his music with him. But Victor can't find him. Victor's riding around this random abandoned, you know what I'm saying, ferry trying to find Keith Murray, right? Just already going crazy. It's like I'm on the phone like, yo, you don't see, I don't see him. I don't know where he's at. You know what I'm saying? Find him, like, keep looking. We need him. We need to find him. Like, he's around. But yeah, I think he's dolo. It's dark out there. He's a bad. He could be anywhere out there. So apparently, Victor finds him, pulls up on him. Keith won't get in the car because he don't know him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know this guy. He won't get in the car. Vic calls me, yo, he won't get in the car. So I don't know what's wrong. He's right there, but he won't get in the car. He's saying he's not coming. He's not getting in. So I'm like, yo, let me talk to him. Like I had to do this with Button and them too. Finally talk to him, get him in the car, right? I don't even remember if it was me that talked to him or Victor convinced him, whatever. One way or the other, he got in the car. Right? We're running, the show's already, people is starting to fill up. The night of the show is starting to fill up. People starting to surprisingly show up. Different rappers sold tickets and different people showing up to the door. Keith Murray, right? So the one thing that we wasn't doing was promoting on the radio, stuff like that. That costs way too much. And you don't have a budget for these shows to be putting it on the radio. Like, I know a lot of people be like, well, why don't you put it on the radio? Just, you know what I'm saying? Put it on the radio. The budget for the radio gonna cost more than what we paying the guy to even be there. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make any sense, right? So you do them underground, you do them for, you know, a small budget, and maybe you could come out with a profit. Most of the time you're gonna lose out. People don't know that. He's in the car, he's on his way up, right? Then you starting to pull up, people starting to get a nice little, it don't hold number like 200 people, you know, it's 200 some people in there, right? So it's not like going to be this big thing, but it looks nice when you get a nice size amount of heads in there. So you got to think your cost versus how many heads you can get. All that stuff factors in. He's on his way to the venue, right? I got DJ Donnie Battle. Salute to Donnie Battle. He's the DJ of the night. He come through with his whole setup. Tech 12, everything is ready to go. He sets up, starts cutting, doing his thing, feeding the crowd to hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Then we got these openers opening up. You know, part of the whole package is openers love they love to open up for these old school artists. They love to be a part of these events, so they're part of the show. I don't even really like saying openers. I like these are part of these are artists. These are acts on the show. I have to say openers for you so you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I don't really like calling people openers. These are people that are a part of the event as well. Without them, the event don't work either. You know what I'm saying? So they are on the show. Like a lot of my flyers, I'll have all these people's name and the person too. So it's like, because they are part of this event just as much as I am or Keith or anybody else. So these guys are performing and things like that. Keith finally gets there, right? Hands in his pocket. He's back again. You know, Keith was on, to me, he's very quiet. He's a very humble guy. You know what I'm saying? He got that look in his eye like, if you want to set off, I'm going to set it off, right? Because he's a wild dude if you know his history. But when you that wild, when you know you were set off, a lot of times you just be humble and you watch, you wait and see, right? Soon as he got there, I gave him all of his money right in his hand. Boom. Fat knot, he put in his pocket. Thank you. All of his money, gave it to him. Just so it wouldn't be no like, what's good with my money, blah, blah. But it's funny because something happened. I'll tell you at the end about that. So everybody's there. Everybody rapped and it went real smooth. Crowd is up to the front. I'm bringing them up. Yo, I need y'all to the front. Da-da-da-da. Keith Murray about to perform, right? Now, Sunset don't have no huge stage. It just have an area where you can perform. But we had put a table, a folding table for the DJ's equipment up on this performing area for Keith, right? And Keith brought a CD of his music for the DJ. Gives it to the DJ. Donnie Battles like, oh, I'm DJ for Keith Murray. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's super souped. Because this don't happen every day. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to be the DJ for a major act like this. It just doesn't happen like that. And you wasn't expecting it. So Donnie, who just rightfully so deserves it. He's scratching, he's bringing them in, blah, blah, blah. Keith is getting amped. But we had put a VIP section in the back, a little bit back in the back where the pool table was at, sectioned that off. And Keith was back there drinking, doing whatever, just chilling. Just getting amped up for the show, whatever. So then, long story short, Keith starts rocking. He starts getting into it. He's getting the crowd amped up. You know how Keith, he's just wild. He's just getting it. He's turned up, turning the whole venue up. Keith decides that, okay, this place is live. I want to stage dive. I just told you, there ain't no stage, but there is a table. There's a plastic table, fold-out table that has the DJ's equipment on it. Maybe a little space for some CDs on this side. Maybe a little space for some drinks or something on that side. It ain't nothing where you to be climbing on, right? But Keith climbed on that table, bro. Keith got up on this plastic table, this picnic fold-up table with the DJ stuff on it and everything. I don't even know how this thing held Keith Murray up on that table. He got up and he's up there bouncing. Yeah, hyping the girl. They loved it. They didn't care what they don't know what he's standing on. They just getting even closer, throwing their hands in the air like they just don't care. And me and Donnie Battle looking at each other like, what the? He about to step on my turntable. Donnie like he about to step on my turntable. Yo, he's thinking like, yo, this is a brand new, like, you know what I'm saying? Them Tech 12s and all that, that's not cheap. You bend that needle, that hand on that, you got a problem. So then he's up there. Me and Jen are panicking like, oh my God, he's about to either hurt himself, he's gonna break the table, he's gonna hurt someone in the crowd. This girl go bad. The crowd don't care. They amping him up. So he's like even more, blah, blah. So he decides, here we go. I'm gonna stage dive. Y'all gonna catch me. They must have said yeah, because this dude leaps, jumps up. But when he jumps, somehow he ends up backwards. And his foot hits the ceiling of the venue because the venue ain't that tall. Yeah, you can do all that. You can even get up on the table and perform. But once you leap, you're going to hit the ceiling. So he leaped, his hand, pow, hit the ceiling. And then when he was coming down, his foot hit the ceiling. But they was holding him up. So for whatever reason, his foot hit the ceiling. And he realized when he kicked it, it would open. So he kicked it. Boom. Dust went everywhere. He kicked it again. Boom. He starts kicking the ceiling. They start bringing him down. He starts putting his hand up and ripping it down. He's ripping down the entire ceiling. Jen don't own this venue. She's renting. She's a renter. She has a landlord. So now she's watching this building that she's renting get ripped down. And then the fire alarm extinguisher is exposed. Electric stuff and whatever. So Keith sees that. You can see it on the video. Reaches up, try to snatch that down. He just amped up, wild, just pumped up, right? So then Jen is panicking like, someone, can we stop him? We have to stop him. I'm like, I can't stop this show in mid. Let's just hope he comes down and relaxes, right? The crowd they're through the roof now. They're amping this thing up like, yeah, do more. Like they want him to rip even more stuff up. I'm like, no, don't amp this up. Don't pump it. We trying to calm this down, right? Jen is mortified. She's like probably about to cry. You know, because this is damage, right? And the name of hip hop is dope. Like if you're an outsider and you have nothing invested in this venue, it's dope. You just seeing one of the dopest things you like. Keith Murray just kicked the ceiling in, ripped it down, and just kept rocking. Like this folklore at this point, right? And I'm gonna put the link to the video down in the description, because somebody put the video up. They still have it there to this day. So then he does all that, and I told you he's kind of tipsy. So then the last thing that happened that is hilarious is he's like kind of wonky, and he looks at me, and I'm looking at him, and he goes, "Did you pay me? Did you pay me yet? You pay me, son?" I'm like, "Yeah, I paid you, bro. It's right there in your pocket. All of it's in your pocket." He goes and checks his pocket, pull out a wire like this. Yeah, you good. Puts it back in his pocket and keeps rocking. That was the craziest show I've ever seen. I think Donnie Battle, shout out to Donnie Battle. I think his bar got bent on his record, on his turntable, and I think the needle and something else and I think some drink spilled on it. It was just chaos, bro, chaos. So I'm sure Donnie at this point is over it. I'm sure he don't regret it. That's one of the greatest moments in hip hop I can remember in this city, as far as I'm concerned. Keith Murray rocked it. Everybody had a good time. No fights broke out. No one was in the parking lot shooting. It was a great event, and that's what really happened at Keith Murray. I believe. I don't know if we had rooms for him, if he went back the same night, but you can't catch a ferry back so at that late. So I think we had rooms for him, and he just chilled in the room and went home the next day. And that's what happened at Keith Murray. Everything came out without a hitch. I don't think we made a profit or what have you, but I think we had a great night. My name is Chuck with Ills. Thank y'all for watching. I'm going to catch you on the flip side. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notifications. CLBMG got merchandise. Go buy a shirt. Go buy an indie hat. All that good stuff like that there. I'm going to catch y'all. My other page, I'll be doing Talking Facts is back. I just did the Talking Facts about Nas. I did the Talking Facts about your boy Tariq from Power saying Jay-Z sold out. Go check my other page, the Charles Brown page. I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.